I couldn't find a job during my graduation internship, so I sent my resume to my ex. Ex? Me. Let me work at your place for 2 months. Him? My company doesn't just hire any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Me? Forget it then. I tossed the phone aside and went to take a shower. When I came back, my phone was blowing up. Our company only accepts interns who can stay for 6 months. Just because we used to date, you think you get a pass? You thought I'd bend over backward to meet all your demands? Hilarious. If you hadn't broken up with me, forget an internship certificate, the whole damn company could have been yours. Why so quiet? Regretting the breakup now? I'm not petty. If you really want in, it's not impossible. Interviews at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Set an alarm. Don't be late. This is your one shot. Actually, 8's too early. You stay up watching shows till midnight. No way you'll make it. 10:30. Conference room. 9th floor. A minute later. 10:30's rush hour. Tough to get a cab. I'll swing by and pick you up. Want a bubble tea? I'll grab one. Maybe a little cake too. I stared at the messages in silence. Since when is 10:30 considered rush hour? And what kind of CEO personally picks someone up for an interview? Isn't that a bit too? They're down to earth. I typed back, no need, I'll just take a cab myself. Him. Only replying now. You're the one begging to get into my company. Could you try to act a little serious? Me. Okay. Him. Don't think acting all obedient means I'll take you back. Don't forget, you were the one who dumped me. I scrolled through our chat history. Did I ever say I wanted to get back together? I replied, relax. I don't do take-backs. I'm just honestly looking for a job. It took him a long time to reply. It better be just that. Carlos Garcia, my ex, is the CEO of a top-tier publicly listed company. They only hire people from elite universities. Me? Just a mediocre undergrad from an average school. Without Carlos, I wouldn't have even landed an interview. I took this chance seriously. The next morning, I got up early, put on makeup, changed into something formal. Only then did I realize Carlos's car was already waiting downstairs. It had been 2 months since we broke up. This was the first time we were seeing each other since. He wore a custom-tailored suit, and even though his Maybach was understated, it still drew plenty of stares. I covered my face and quickly got into the car to avoid attracting more attention. Didn't I say I could take a cab? Carlos was much quieter in person than on WeChat. His handsome face was expressionless. Don't overthink it. I was just passing by. Don't I know where you live? Your luxury mansion's in the most expensive, exclusive part of town. My school might as well be in the suburbs. It takes at least 2 hours to get here. I looked at him as he drove. I hesitated, but couldn't hold it in. Did you put on cologne? Just a little. Did you style your hair? Light touch-up. That new suit also fresh? Delivered yesterday. He looked more dressed up than a celebrity. Next to him, I felt like a scruffy mutt. If I didn't know better, I'd think he was the one going to an interview. He said, "Don't think I dressed up just to see you." Did I say that? Me. Okay. Either way, thanks for coming all this way to pick me up. Carlos's Maybach stood out too much. I mean, who gets dropped off at an interview by the company's CEO? At the bus stop nearest the office, I asked him to let me out. I smiled and said thanks. I'll do my best in the interview. Any chance you can hint at what the questions might be? His hand rested on the steering wheel. He gave me a cool glance. Isabel Lopez, I'm not your boyfriend anymore. I have no obligation to tell you that. I nodded. Honestly, I was just trying to lighten the awkward mood with a joke. I didn't expect any real info. Carlos is known in the business world for being ruthless and vengeful, strictly by the book. I knew the interview would be handled fairly. Just getting this one chance as his ex was already a big deal. After I explained why I was there, someone warmly led me upstairs. Gotta say, Big companies do have great vibes. I relaxed a little, but as I walked into the conference room, there he was, Carlos, sitting by the huge floor-to-ceiling window, flipping through my resume. The room was empty, except for us. The silence was deafening. I waited a while before I couldn't help asking, "Mr. Garcia, where's the interviewer?" He looked up, barely lifting an eyelid. That would be me. Me. Having a CEO interview an intern feels a bit over the top. Him. Didn't feel that way when you had me cooking, doing laundry, mopping floors, and watering plants, did you? I looked down, feeling guilty. That was different. We were dating then, and now. Him. What? Now I can't cook, do your laundry, mop your floors, and water your plants anymore? Wait, was that what I meant? He gave a cold laugh. You haven't changed one bit, Isabel. Use someone, then toss them away without a second thought. Wait, wasn't this supposed to be an interview? I tried to steer things back on track. Mr. Garcia, I'm really sorry for what happened before, but I promise I'll fix those bad habits once I start working. Fix them? I know you too well. Can you really? Without me cooking, does your food even taste good? Without my 8-pack as a pillow, can you sleep at night? Watching him get more worked up by the second, I stayed silent. Fine. Since you clearly have so many complaints, I won't waste your time. I turned to leave. Come back. Carlos pressed his lips into a thin line, his face turning cold again. He pulled out a contract and grabbed my hand, stamping it down without asking. Congratulations. You're hired. Don't think our history gets you any special treatment. Even if the job kills you, you're doing it. Otherwise, that penalty clause will crush you. First day on the job, I sat at my desk laser-focused for 3 hours. And in that time, I'd watched 3 full hours of dramas. Across from me, Carlos was working seriously the entire time. When he's working, he wears gold-rimmed glasses that make him look even more like a dangerous gentleman. I took off my headphones and stared at him. He noticed, seemed to get the hint, picked up his phone, tapped a few times, then put it down. I upgraded your VIP account. Keep watching. What kind of intern binge watches shows in the CEO's office? I felt uneasy. Is there anything I should be doing? Him. If you're hungry, just order takeout. Oh. Honestly, I kinda liked this lazy freeloading life. But wasn't I pushing it, slacking off so openly? I hesitated. Isn't this a bit too much? Carlos's face turned cold. Your mouth's been flapping non-stop, aren't you thirsty? I breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, a reaction that resembled a real boss. He stood up. I'll get you a cup of coffee. I nearly fell out of my chair. No, it's fine. I stopped him. He smelled faintly of mint, the same scent as the body wash I once picked out for him. He looked down at me, his eyes as indifferent as always. Huh, couldn't resist? Then he smirked and pulled me into a hug. We may be broken up, but since you're so eager, I guess one hug won't hurt. Where on earth did you get the idea I wanted a hug? I couldn't help reminding him, Carlos, we're not together anymore. He scoffed. So you broke up with me just because I can't eat super spicy hot pot? That's laughable. Me. It's hard to make a relationship work when your partner's tastes are that different from your own. He sneered. Hard to make it work? Seeing that look on his face, I had a bad feeling. Bantering with Carlos' big mistake. That afternoon, my workload suddenly doubled. I was the last to leave the office. Damn, Carlos, still so impossible. A few days into work, my roommates were already venting in the group chat. I can't do this job another day. Must have been a monster in a past life. Now I wake up at 6 a.m. daily. Who even invented mornings? What's so good about them anyway? Only 2 days in and my boss already called me dumb, LMAO. Intelligence costs extra. I chimed in, forget it. I just want to go live on Mount Emma as a monkey. Our usually calm and sensible dorm leader jumped in to comfort us. It's totally normal to feel a bit off emotionally under long-term stress. You have to learn to self-regulate. Believe that everything will be ha 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 ha. Few shoof jibu, what? Sand, kill, sand, veil, curse, shark, slash, rash, flash, move, kill, sacrifice. We're gonna be fine. Go team. Full-on breakdown. Clearly, post-work mental states were just lovely for everyone. Compared to the others, I actually had it better. When I was busy, I was super busy. When I wasn't, I was completely idle. As long as I didn't piss off Carlos, I could coast like a lazy fish. But good things never last. One day, while Carlos was out at a meeting and I was goofing off in his office watching a show, a glamorous woman walked in and froze when she saw me. "Isabel, what are you doing here?" I yawned. "Working." She pointed at the drama playing on my computer. "This is working? You dumped Carlos, and now you're back clinging to him. Have you no shame? You really think he'd forgive you?" That woman was Jessica Miller, one of Carlos's obsessive admirers. Back when I was dating Carlos, she tried to steal him more than once. The moment she heard we broke up, she was the first to celebrate on her social media. Now, seeing me here, Jessica looks stunned. "Carlos is mine. You already broke up with him, so why are you back?" I replied honestly, "Because the hours are 10 to 5, weekends off, no overtime, and free meals and afternoon tea." Her, "That's all your pride's worth?" Me, "Jobs are hard to come by." Her, "Then come work at my company. I'll give you the same perks, double the pay, just stop sticking to Carlos like a leech." Me, "I'd have to pay a penalty for breaking contract." Her, "I'll cover it." Me, "Deal." We hit it off instantly. I began packing up. After all, I hadn't really left anything personal on this desk in the past few days. Power bank, Carlos's. Little blanket, Carlos's. Wellness tea, coffee beans, peanuts, sunflower seeds, all stuff he had delivered. The only thing truly mine was a pink thermos, and even that had been a gift from Carlos. I decided to take it with me when I left. Jessica said, "Hurry up. If Carlos finds out I poached you, he'll lose his mind." Me, "Got it, boss." As luck would have it, just as we reached the elevator, a tall figure stepped out. Carlos had just come back from his meeting. He spotted Jessica, then noticed me behind her and the thermos in my arms. His face immediately darkened. "Where are you going?" "Bathroom." We both blurted at once, holding hands, like two schoolgirls sneaking off together to the restroom. Jessica glanced at me, her eyes flashing a silent, "Play along." Too bad Carlos's razor-sharp business mind wasn't so easily fooled. "Bathroom?" He looked like he might laugh, but didn't. His eyes stayed on me. "Taking your thermos to the bathroom?" I quickly hid it behind my back. In my rush, 2 packs of cookies I'd swiped from the office fell out of my pocket. I gave an awkward smile and bent down to pick them up, only for 2 sausages and a bag of crunchy shark snacks to fall out too, all from the office stash. Carlos, "Still love my snacks, I see." Jessica's eyes went wide. "That's not the point. The point is, she's ditching you again." "Carlos, I barely tempted her and she agreed to jump ship. She's even stealing snacks on the way out. All she cares about is your money. A woman that's shallow, how could she be worth it?" "Carlos, having money is a strength. If she likes my money, she likes my strengths." "Are you still blind to who she really is? She dumped you and you cried like a dog. Don't make the same mistake twice." A vein popped on Carlos's forehead. "Shut up. It's true. You said it yourself. Drinking with my brother and the guys you said if you got back with her, you'd be a dog. Unless she says I love you 100 times and then, His assistant, seeing the chaos, swiftly covered her mouth. Carlos had had enough. "Jessica, if you ever barge into my office without permission again, I'll tell your brother and cut off your allowance. Get her out of here." Jessica was dragged away, drama over, only Carlos and I were left. I had a bad feeling. Should I go too? But the moment I took a step, He grabbed my wrist and pulled me back inside. So you'd just leave with someone else? Just like that? Was what I gave you still not enough? As soon as the door closed, he pinned me against it. His broad, warm hand shielded my back from the cold surface. I felt guilty about being caught mid-defection. She did offer more than you. Before his face could fully darken, I quickly added, but I know my own worth. Instead of freeloading at your company, I might as well actually work at hers. That way, everybody's happy. Satisfied? You think I'd be okay with someone stealing you away? I replied honestly. I'm just a slacker. I can't bring any value to the company. You've built this place up so well, hiring top-tier talent from every field. We used to date, after all. I just didn't want you to lose out. He laughed, and it made my back go cold. So you know I'm amazing, and still dumped me that heartlessly. Isabel. His eyes darkened. Do you have another guy out there? Only ever had one dog, Dowdo. Dowdo was the Samoyed we got while dating, still living in his giant villa. Carlos lifted my chin. You know damn well I wasn't talking about Dowdo. Which wild man blinded you to the point where you dumped a drop-dead, gorgeous, filthy, rich, wife-devoted gem like me? I wanted to say he was being narcissistic, but honestly, he did check all those boxes. Carlos, there's no point dragging up the past now that we've broken up. I felt his hand tighten around my waist, then release. He said, Of course I know we broke up. You think I'd debase myself again? No way! Great. Talking to himself now. You've already signed the contract. You can't leave until the term is up. Otherwise, the penalty will bleed you dry. And you'll end up borrowing money from me. Jessica's not bailing you out either. She's got her own mess to deal with. He gave a chilling smile, and I shivered. No wonder he's a ruthless business shark. Even his ex and his admirer get no mercy. After all that drama, I returned to my desk and put the pink thermos back. Since I'm already here, might as well make peace with it. But then I glanced up and saw his open laptop screensaver was a picture of me eating cake, whipped cream on my nose, surprisingly cute. Before I could get a closer look, he snapped the laptop shut. Forgot to change it. He picked up a coffee mug expressionlessly, took a sip and nearly dropped it because it was just boiled water. We didn't exchange another word all afternoon. Carlos was really mad. I felt kind of guilty. I was the one who sent him my resume just to get an easy internship. He took me in despite everything, and I was ready to bounce for double pay? Should have held out for triple at least. Can't be so impulsive next time. But I still owed him an apology. I hadn't even gotten close when he turned away and snapped. Trying to get back together? Not a chance. Do I look like I'm trying to get back together? Mr. Garcia, I thought it over. What I did earlier wasn't right. Since I'm here, I'll stay and work properly. Isabel, don't think that'll make me go soft on you. You've only been here a few days and already wanted to jump ship. If it were anyone else, I'd have kicked them out by now. You've just had it too easy. Time to toughen up. Just like that, my workstation went from the top floor CEO's office to the 5th floor workhorse zone. They called it that because that's what the senior who brought me down there called it. I knew then this internship wouldn't be a breeze anymore. In dramas, interns who fall from grace usually get the cold shoulder, snide remarks, and hostility. But nope, everyone here treated me surprisingly well. They offered me snacks, little gifts, chatted with me like an old friend. Not a whisper of gossip. It was as if they'd all been expecting me. Hey, did we know each other before? Huh? No way. How would I know you're the badass ex who dumped Mr. Garcia? News travels fast in big companies. Realizing what she just said, the woman smacked her lips. Ugh, I talk too much. That said, the vibe here was way better than I expected. The only time it got dead silent was when work picked up just the sound of typing in a space, quiet as a morgue. In that thick air of productivity, I stayed a happy slacker. Everyone knew I was only here for the internship certificate. Carlos didn't assign me anything. and the others wouldn't dare take that initiative. In this hyper-competitive world, I knew I was nothing but a salted fish. I had no chance against these high performers. But being comfortable matters most. Life's about finding your own rhythm. Thinking back, I first met Carlos through a game. He had just taken over the company, was super stressed, and logged on to blow off steam only to be matched with me, the queen of bad plays. We got annihilated. He added me and flamed me hard afterward. I said, "Sorry I made you lose that badly. If you want, stab me." Then I sent him a pin to a duo link. He stopped replying. Later on, whenever I had survey assignments, I'd send them to him. "Sweetie, fill this out." "Babe, fill this out. Please, fill it." Eventually, one. He snapped. "Got nothing better to do?" He said he was busy with work, investing tens of millions, even billions. Told me to stop bothering him. I thought he was full of it. Back then, I was a broke college student who had to seriously budget for KFC's crazy Thursday deals. If he was gonna flex, I'd flex too. I said I woke up every morning in a 500 square meter bed, cared for by 50 sexy maids who spoon-fed me. In reality, I was in a cramped dorm with bunk beds, battling my roommates like wolves just for a bite of food. I must have impressed him with my nonsense, because after that, he messaged me every morning. "Woke up in your 500 square meter bed yet?" We started chatting here and there, and weirdly enough, we really clicked. I mean, who doesn't love a good bullsh tea session? Then he disappeared for a while. Just when I thought we'd part ways, he came back and said he'd fallen for me and wanted to meet. I panicked. Forgot to mention I was playing a male avatar. Turns out I had attracted a dude. I quickly clarified, "Sorry, I'm actually a girl." He ghosted me again for a long, long time. Later, after we got together, I learned Carlos was straight. He just thought I was a guy and spent forever trying to convince himself he was falling for a dude, questioning if he was top or bottom. Finally, when he made peace with it and was ready to confess, turns out I was a girl after all. His sexuality must have felt like a broken compass, completely lost. But being the domineering CEO he is, he quickly straightened himself out. We started dating for real. I didn't expect he hadn't been bluffing. He really was filthy rich. Once we were official, he spoiled me rotten with clothes, makeup, snacks, buying, and gifting nonstop. The first time I visited his luxury villa in that upscale neighborhood, I was nearly blinded by the extravagance. He casually said, "This is just the tip of the iceberg. Tip of the iceberg, my ass." I kept an extra low profile just to avoid drawing attention. My roommates only knew I was dating someone with a mysterious identity. They all thought he was some government agent. I'd only go to Carlos's villa during holidays or when I didn't have class. In public, Carlos was decisive and ruthless. But at home, he cooked, cleaned, and did laundry. He even planned my meals and scheduled down to the minute. My period became regular again. He was like a precision machine, handling everything with ease and enjoying it. After a while, I began to realize just how different we were. In every possible way, I was far behind him. The internet says men like him want a partner who's equally accomplished. But I was just a salted fish who wanted to lie flat. How could someone who loved riding shared bikes be worthy of a guy who drove a Maybach? So I picked a petty reason to start a fight and broke up with him. He was abroad on a business trip at the time, but flew back that night and cornered me against a wall, eyes red as he demanded, "You ignored my messages. He didn't answer my calls. I'd rather believe you were kidnapped than believe you actually broke up with me." I made myself out to be the villain and shook my head coldly. "You're not my type," he said hoarsely. "Tell me your type I can change." "Not everyone can be a type." "Isabel, then what did our love mean?" "Means you've got a good memory." He was on the verge of breaking. I knew Carlos, who had been praised and admired his whole life, had too much pride to beg for reconciliation. Clutching his chest, he ground his teeth and said, "You think I can't live without you? I'm Carlos. Do you know how many women I've seen? You're just a little cuter than the rest. I cried. Even now, he still praised me. It hurt, no lie. I didn't want to leave him either, but it was better to walk away than be forced apart. For 2 months, we didn't contact each other until I started my graduation internship and job hunt. Jobs with weekends off and no overtime were impossible to find. On impulse, I sent Carlos my resume. I knew it wasn't the right thing to do, but if I was going to be the bad guy, might as well commit. I didn't expect much, but he really let me come work at his company. Still, I knew it was temporary. I didn't belong here. I was just here for an internship certificate. After graduation, I'd go back to my village, inherit the chicken farm, and live a carefree life. My dad once said, "The most important thing in life is knowing what you truly want." I'd rather have freedom than money earned at the cost of my health. As a company president, Carlos was fast and ruthless. His style clashed with my family's mantra. He ran a company of thousands. I'd be raising thousands of chickens. He talked about business battles. I complained that chickens poop right after eating. We really weren't from the same world. When the internship ended, we'd be two parallel lines, never crossing paths again. After a week in the lower office, I was chatting idly with the girl at the next desk when a message came through. "Carlos, if you want to come back, I'd allow it." "No thanks," I replied, set down my phone, and went back to chatting. The following days, the office atmosphere got tense. Carlos kept losing his temper during meetings. Everyone sat in silence, barely breathing. Only when I was there would things calm down. Eventually, the execs caught on. They brought me to every meeting. I became their lucky charm, warding off the angry, stormy boss. Then came a new intern, Tony. Unlike me, Tony was the real deal, a top student who passed the interview fair and square. He was bright and bursting with energy. Since it was just the two of us in the same role, we had some common ground. He greeted me first. "Hey, what school are you from?" Okay, maybe not that much in common. When I told him, he looked thoughtful. "It's really hard to get into this company. You usually need years of experience. I only got in thanks to some big-name internships." "But no experience and you still got in." His eyes lit up with awe. "Senior, you must be insanely competent." "Me? Nah, I'm just a salted fish who dreams of lying flat." Wanting to learn from me, Tony brought me snacks daily and tried to get close. His eyes were full of curiosity. I couldn't bear to tell him I was just here to fake an internship for the certificate. One day, as he handed me a washed apple while asking for advice, I shivered. "Hey, have you noticed it getting colder lately?" Tony scratched his head. "Yeah, is the AC broken?" I had a hunch and turned around. Sure enough, there he was, Carlos, standing in the dark hallway, his face clouded with gloom, his cold gaze fixed on the apple in my hand. Tony leaned in to ask more, but I dodged quickly and handed the apple back. When I turned back, Carlos was gone. After that, Tony's workload tripled doing the work of 5 people. Even I, the lazy intern, started to feel bad. Yet that sweet fool still smiled and said, "This just means the company recognizes my abilities and is challenging me." "But you got a nosebleed yesterday and couldn't even stand, dude. The city's too intense. Going home to run a chicken farm is clearly the more sensible choice." I started counting down to the end of the internship. Right before clock out, I got a call. Carlos's icy voice came through. "Come upstairs. We're about to clock out. Something wrong, Mr. Garcia?" "Pay raise. On my way." When I entered his office, he was sitting on the couch, suit off, top few buttons of his white shirt undone. Since I came in, he hadn't looked away, his gaze slightly hazy, touched with the blur of alcohol. Had he been drinking? He spoke. "Do you like that intern?" No. He acted like he didn't hear, stood up, and slowly walked toward me. "What does he have that I don't? Youth?" His fair skin was tinged red. The usual aloof CEO looked a little less cold. a little more human. His voice carried jealousy. "Why do you always talk to him but avoid me every time I pass by?" I could feel his warm breath on the tip of my nose. I tried to move, but he wouldn't let me. He stubbornly grabbed my hand and placed it on his face. "I've been taking care of my skin." Then he guided my hand down neck, collarbone, until it rested on his abs beneath the shirt. "I work out every day, too. So what exactly don't you like?" His voice sounded genuinely confused. Then he moved lower, touching somewhere hot. My hand trembled. But he clutched my hand and wouldn't let go. I said, "Please show some respect, Mr. Garcia." He leaned his entire body against mine. "Isabel, do you really hate me that much?" There's no reasoning with a drunk man. Just as I was about to call for his assistant, he yanked me back. My lips were suddenly bitten hard. The unexpected kiss hit like a storm, leaving me stunned. My mind went blank. I didn't push him away. His kiss was fierce and all-consuming. I could feel his heart pounding against me, and mine began to race with it. "I don't hate you." "Then why did you break up with me? Tell me?" His voice was soft and hoarse, like a devil luring an angel into the fall. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together. I was even willing to question my own sexuality for you. There's nothing I can't accept." I couldn't handle his intensity. His kisses left me breathless. In the end, I gave in and confessed my previous concerns. After I admitted I didn't hate him, Carlos quieted down, unusually calm and obedient. He asked, "You think our background difference is what's standing between us? So you broke up with me without telling me?" I looked down. "I'm sorry." His arms tightened around me. "Don't apologize. Sorry doesn't fix this." "Then what do you want?" "Get back together with me." I froze, looked up at him. His eyes were slightly red, but he was completely serious. "I'll even marry into your chicken farm. If you think our family backgrounds are getting in the way, I'll give mine up. Like you said, people have to know what matters most to them. And for me, what matters most is you. I can help you run the chicken farm, make it go international. I need you. I want you to need me too." He closed his eyes, voice rough and choked. "Please don't leave me again." He really was the ultimate love-struck fool. That heartbreak and those tears, best wedding dowry a man could offer. I couldn't bear to see that hurt in his eyes anymore. At that moment, my resolve to be with him forever hit its peak. Whatever comes, we'll face it together. Even a salted fish has to step up sometimes. I cupped his face in my hands. Getting back together isn't off the table. Once the words were out, there was no taking them back. I returned to the top floor, to the CEO's office, to my exclusive seat. Before I left downstairs, Tony stood up and saluted me. "Incredible, Senior. Your rise is so fast I want to be just like you." Me, good luck. After we got back together, the office atmosphere clearly improved. The workload wasn't as crushing either. Carlos couldn't stop smiling. After work, he drove me straight to the villa. "Dowdu, your mom's home!" The chubby Samoyed immediately bolted out, bouncing circles around me and nuzzling up close. Carlos, blissfully content, went off to do laundry, cook, and mop the floor. That cold, arrogant exterior was completely gone. He even posted a photo of us holding hands on his moments. True love. Never parting. Minutes later, Jessica exploded in my WeChat. "You two got back together already? I don't believe it. What kind of love potion did you feed Carlos? Why doesn't he go love crazy for me? I won't give up." Me, 50, show me what you got. Ding, 500. 0 received via Alipay. The sudden notification nearly scared me out of my skin. Carlos had appeared behind me at some point, his eyes full of hurt. Selling me out for 50? Me. Of course not! I thought we'd take it slow now that we were back together. But that very night, he showered, smelled amazing, and climbed right into my bed. Wife, do I smell good? Am I comfy to sleep with? Once you sleep with me, no one else allowed. With love regained, my internship life just kept getting sweeter. After many days of coming and going from the office together, the pure and clueless Tony finally put the pieces together. One day, I ran downstairs for something and ran into him. He pulled me aside, looking shifty. I blinked. "What's up?" "Tony, my workload's been decreasing lately. I'm kind of scared." "Why be scared of less work? Afraid of getting fired?" His face turned red. He hesitated, then blurted it out. "I used to wonder how you got promoted with so little work." "Then I noticed you're always with Mr. Garcia. I'm not saying anything bad about you, but I'm not going to become his plaything for a job, okay? Tell Mr. Garcia." "Garcia to forget it, I'm not interested." "Huh? Plaything?" I was stunned. Since when did Carlos have a thing with Tony? Later I found out Tony thought I had less work because Carlos liked me. Then, when his own workload decreased, he assumed Carlos liked him too. I burst out laughing and explained everything. "So, you're actually Mr. Garcia's girlfriend." Realization dawned, and he patted his chest with relief. "Sorry, my bad." "Please don't tell him I said that." Poor Tony, so very straightforward. But I couldn't blame him. With me and Carlos cold-shouldering each other, it wasn't obvious we'd dated. "Still, thanks, Tony." "For what?" "You didn't teach me anything about work, but you helped me realize life isn't just about work. It's okay to relax and enjoy it too. This internship, it's been a little exhausting." "Good kid." Finally felt the burnout. I patted his shoulder. "Slacking off is a fine art. But everyone has their own way of life. Go at your own pace. Not everyone has a chicken farm waiting for them." After the internship ended, I went back to school to start working on my thesis and final project. My other intern roommates also returned. We all sat around trading horror stories about our bosses except me. I was praising mine. No one believed me. One roommate even felt my forehead. "Did you eat too many free meals? You're delirious." Everyone burst out laughing. Back in the lively dorm life, Carlos was left alone in his big empty villa. He started sending me flirty body shots every day to tempt me to visit. When he missed me too much, he'd drive to my school and stroll through the night market at the gate. We'd hold hands and eat fried skewers together. He'd long drop the CEO persona. Whenever he came to my school, he'd deliberately dress like a college guy, attracting stares wherever we went. He said it made him look younger. Every street vendor gave him extra food, and in the end, it all ended up in my belly. Carlos waited and waited, counting the days like stars in the sky. After a few long months, I finally graduated. He couldn't wait a second longer, pushed aside work, and took me on a graduation trip. As soon as we got back, he said he wanted to take me to meet his parents. "Isn't it a bit fast? They've been wanting to meet you for a long time." Saying I wasn't nervous would be a lie. With such a huge gap between our family backgrounds, I wasn't sure if they'd accept me or my family's chicken farm. I tossed and turned all night, unable to sleep. But when we met, all my worries vanished. Carlos's parents adored me. They even gave me a family heirloom. Jihan's always known his own mind. We trust his choices. His parents warmly held my hand. I didn't understand why they were so affectionate until I found out that back when Carlos and I were online friends, he thought I was a guy and had told his parents he was gay. They had a huge fight over it. So now, seeing him bring home a girl, they were ecstatic, so thrilled they nearly arranged our wedding on the spot. Everything went smoothly. At Carlos's urging, I brought him home for Chinese New Year. He came to my village, loaded down with bags. At 6 feet tall and with his striking looks, my parents and aunts were full of praise. My dad pulled me aside and said he was very pleased with his future son-in-law. That boy's got life in his eyes. The way he works, you'd think he was ready to plow 2 acres of land. Even the chickens in the coop like him. See that basket of eggs in the kitchen? The hens laid them just for him. I was shocked. So this was the power of peak-level pheromones? On New Year's Eve, we sat together as a family, enjoying the reunion dinner. Fireworks exploded outside the window, brilliant bursts lighting up the sky. This year's display seemed especially bright and beautiful. I was about to grab Carlos's hand to make a wish when I saw the fireworks spell out my name. I turned, and there he was, already kneeling on one knee, holding up a ring. His gaze was soft as water, full of love. "Will you marry me?" In the most dazzling moment of the fireworks, I smiled and reached out my hand. All the confusion, doubts, and heartache vanished in that instant. Meeting Carlos was my happiness, my luck. From now on, for all the years to come, we'd walk this path together.